Hello, oh nephew of mine. I haven't quite gotten the hang of this thing that your mom handed me, but as you can see, I've got paints and a model here. And I know that you're working with Stormcast, but I figured this will also help. Alright, now I sprayed down this guy right here in this really bright looking gray. Kind of has a bit of a shine to it, but it's not, wouldn't really call it gloss. You know, keep in mind, as you can see, you don't have to spray everything because that's going to end up getting glued onto that thing. And yes, I got a lot of boxes. Ignore those. The point is here is that when you're getting ready to work on your model, start out by figuring out what colors you want to make everything and what you would consider a base coat color, which is in that book I handed to you. Alright, so I use kind of a reddish brown here on the woods, alright, for the barrels. Okay, I get it, that's a cup, but this guy is a giant demon, so it's a barrel to other people. Alright, and I used orange, which matches up with the rest of my demons. And what's cool about that is this is actually going to end up looking kind of brown and leathery and dirty, because I'm going to hit it with another color, wash, and it's going to change it drastically. So even though I didn't get like an even coat over everything, it's going to give it a neat look. Now the popcorn box, I did go ahead and paint that white. I didn't want to make it, again, too even of a coat. I did put some yellow and a little bit of orange on the popcorn. I just couldn't help it. Now you'll notice I put him in purple. Alright, now anybody can do whatever color they want for a jersey, but I actually thought about your grandfather, my dad, and how much he liked the Minnesota Vikings. And so I decided that I was going to start off with at a contrast for purple, which is kind of a wash and the base all in one. Okay, so I wanted to start off something kind of strong. Now you'll notice down here, thanks to the contrast, some of my orange already has some dark spots on it. Those will eventually get covered up later on down the road, but it is stuff that you need to, be prepared for, and don't think of yourself as doing something horrible because you got paint on something wrong. The hose here for his drinks up in his antlers, I've left that gray for now. I may decide to change that. It could become any other color, doesn't matter. The glasses I also haven't quite figured out, alright, and that's fine. And you'll notice the glasses on one side is kind of broken. Well, that actually happened when I was trying to clear stuff off of the print itself. That wasn't a painting or modeling choice. But then again, it's Nurgle, so I expect it to be broken. So, I honestly don't have a problem with it. Now, if we pick him up, and he is hefty because, well, I didn't put a giant hole in his butt. You can see he's nice and solid. Now, he's going to be sitting on this, on that throne piece, so I really didn't have to put paint over here, but you never know what you're going to be able to see and what you're not going to be able to see. So I wanted to make sure I covered as much as possible to prepare for that. And you can see where there's rips in the cloth to the shirt because of either the random horns and spikes, and you can see some of the flesh in some areas. And so I put down some of the start of the flesh tone, which again is the orange. Now I may opt to add other colors like green and yellow and white to the flesh, but that's going to be on a case by case. You can randomize that like really awesomely, but don't forget to hit certain areas, like trying to get the white underneath here. Granted, it's not perfect. I used a rather large brush because I wanted to just cover large areas fast. Use a smaller brush later, it'll be fine. things that you learn whenever you're doing this for a while. And don't forget to get inside the mouth. Now, was I capable of getting everything inside the mouth? No, no. I could only get as far as it was willing to go. However, he's going to sit kind of like this. So you're really not going to be up in there unless you're really, really tipping the model. The antlers probably aren't going to stay orange themselves. They're not going to go flesh tony. But I wanted to make sure that I had, that I had something on them before I put the brown on. Now, something I've learned from experience is, granted I'm holding it with my hand, but try not to have sweaty hands. Try not to, have any liquid on your hands. And the reason for that is if you press too hard, or say you want to oh no, I gotta rub this little bit of paint off or something like that, you can actually take the paint off of the model by having sweaty hands and pressing too hard, and that paint will actually come off on something like your thumb and all that. It's okay, you can always go back and put the colors back on, but hopefully you're not too far into the process. This is me just showing a whole bunch of base coats and stuff right now. So, again, really early in the process. And if you want to say this guy came apart and you wanted to paint certain things, you can always take something like the top end of a nail. This is something your grandfather did quite often. And you can see that I've done it here. I did it with a different model. This last time anyway. And you can use nails. This is literally just a sponge for dishes or whatever else you plan to use a sponge for. And I put some nails in it because it's nice and stiff, and I spray painted the parts on it. And so if you got something small, again, you can always do it like that. And because you're gonna have to glue the parts to the nails, and that'll keep it nice and solid there, but be prepared to pull it off, clean off the glue, and get it ready to go for everything else. And you'll see that I've got various paint brushes and stuff. I've been using this as a water cup. I suggest getting a plastic cup, something you can just kind of throw away if necessary. I have been using this cup since your grandmother got angry at me back when I was somewhere around 10 or 12 years old when I first started painting. This cup has never been cleaned. I've only ever had one person drink out of this cup. Yes, they survived. They did not enjoy it. They still did it. I don't suggest it. But hey, challenges to people in the future. Alright, and sometimes I'll have other projects that are nearby or parts that are left over that I've forgotten to clean up. So, try to keep your work area clean. Don't be like me in this aspect. But you'll see various colors. Now, you'll notice I've got Games Workshop Citadel paints, and I've got Apple Barrel from Walmart and other colors. And the reason for this is because, let's be honest, you're gonna look for a specific color or shade of a color, and you're going to want to make sure that you're getting that consistently. And that's fine. Use whatever you want. And if you don't have one of these, let me know and I'll talk to your mom. But it's, I know this says Extreme Power Accelerator and has a price listed on it. I don't know if it's still that price or whatever. I bought mine a long time ago. But notice, it is flammable liquid. Keep away from heat. Read your products, okay? Safety first. Guess I probably should have mentioned that at the very beginning. But you can spray that on the glue and it'll harden and dry faster. Don't get the glue on yourself and spray it and try that. I'll be honest, I've done that and it burns. It really, really burns. So, again, safety first, don't do the thing. Let's see here. Obviously something to put your paint on. I've been using this thing for probably over 15 years. And yes, it is heavy and it is solid with paint from a long time ago. If I remember right, I think it's an old piece to an old Domino's, like, pizza box, back when it was orange and blue. I don't even think you were born then when I did that. I think it was just before you were born. Because I've had this thing for a while, but not as long as I've had that cup. But yeah, try to keep your brushes upright, not down. Alright? If you've got a cap for your blades, try to keep that ready. And do be careful. Blades, like these, do have a tendency to break the tip. Okay? Mine's a little nicked here and there, but I've been using it for a while. Try to get the most out of my blades, but do watch out. If that tip goes, it can go anywhere. That means your hands, that means your eyes. And I benefit from wearing glasses. If you've got glasses, wear them. If you don't have glasses, safety glasses. Alright? It may sound silly at first, but you won't be laughing when you realize, hey, you still have both eyes when somebody else might not. I know, I'm preaching a lot of safety here. You can also wear gloves. If you don't want to get all this paint on your hands, you know, because it's going to happen depending on like what you're painting, how big it is, that sort of thing. Just get some of those blue gloves that you can get, you know, in any medical aisle where they're selling like boxes of 100. Let's see here. Trying to think if there's anything else that I might want to touch on before we continue. And by the way, don't forget, like I do plan on dropping off this lamp over here, not the white piece. That white piece is a fan that I like to keep, kind of an air filter too, but that's a heat lamp that'll help you dry your models and see your models better. I'll see if I can't locate a magnifying glass that you can kind of hook onto something. I think I've got one. I might not. But I've gotten pretty skilled since I first got that. So let's see here. No, I think that's about it for this portion of the video. I think things have gone on long enough. I'm not going to edit this. Hopefully I haven't said anything wrong or offensive. Shouldn't have said anything offensive. I was talking about paint and hurting myself. So it should be fine. Let's see here. Yeah, editing might be good because of all the pauses. But if you have any questions about, oh, that's what I can do, because you're painting Stormcast right now. Hey, look, you get to see a lot of my hobby room. Yes, my 3D printer, a bunch of Chaos Space Marines in a box. Yay. Oh, and if you need to, for cleaning purposes, get yourself a spray bottle, put some rubbing alcohol in it. It'll save you a lot of time. Let's see here. Don't mind small stuff here, but it may be good for you to get like a box or something. Use the box that your models came in. You'll recognize Dominion. You have one, and I've got more Stormcast in here than what you had, which is fine. You're just starting your collection, so that's good to go. But you may also ask your mom for foam. Foam is good because, as you can see down here, you can put the models in it. You know, oh, and there's those blue gloves I was talking about. But again, when in doubt, use a box. Boxes are good. You can get lots of them. It happens. Alright. I think we're good here. Let's see here. Stop button. You can see I'm old and still learning. Alright. Hopefully next time I get to see you in person. Goodbye.